What happens when a seasoned designer trades Milan runways for Miami kitchens and living rooms? You get a design powerhouse like Camila Gusmau, who is transforming South Florida homes with flair, function, and financial smarts. In this episode, we dive deep into how Camila built her thriving interior design firm from scratch, right as the pandemic hit, and how she helps clients make smart, stylish, and stress-free decisions for their homes. From uncovering shady contractor red flags to embracing AI in the design process, Camila breaks down what really makes a space both beautiful and livable. Whether you're renovating your forever home, staging, or just tired of seeing the same floors in every flip, this conversation is packed with expert advice, cautionary tales, and honest insights. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Krinzman Property Playbook, your inside look at South Florida real estate. I'm your host, Matthew Krinzman, bringing you real strategies, real insights, and real connections that help you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. With over 2 decades of experience as a licensed realtor and broker associate, I've watched South Florida grow from a quiet getaway to a global destination, and I'm here to help you navigate it like a pro. My business thrives on trusted relationships, with many of my clients being repeat and referrals. This podcast is brought to you by me, Matthew Krinzman, a One Sotheby's International Realty agent. For more info, visit buysellmiami.re.com. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Krinzman. I am the host of the Krinzman Property Playbook. Today, I have Camila Gusmau joining me, who is a local interior designer, decorator in the South Florida area, residing out of Plantation. And today, we're going to talk a little something different because normally I talk about a little more on the investment side and tax strategies and things like that. But today, we're going to talk about home interior design, which is obviously a big part of the real estate industry, and especially in South Florida, there's always new homes, there's new buildings being built, and new buyers, people moving into homes that need renovations or updating. And today I have Camila joining me. And Camila, take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell us about who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Camila Gusmau. Like Matthew said, I'm an interior designer based in Broward County, to Boca, down to Miami. Basically, we are a full-service interior design firm. We offer a selection of furnishings from all ranges of budgets. We work with contractors who are licensed and insured in the area. And I think my strong suit and my passion in what I do is not so much, we do operate in the luxury design market, but I'm very conscious of financial needs and not over designing for your area or for your property, and making something beautiful, but that is also a sound investment for my
Awesome.
clients.
Just tell us your background. So how did you get into start doing interior designing and decorations, and especially in the South, in South Florida, and especially between the Broward, Miami-Dade County. I guess also you work in Palm Beach. How did you get into it? What was the why, and what was your why in this?
My why is we set our roots down here. I grew up here in
Okay.
Plantation. During college, I moved abroad. I went to first New York, and then I lived in Italy, where I
Wow.
finished my studies in fashion
Very
design.
cool.
But after I met my husband and we moved all over the world because of his job, we decided to put down our roots here again.
Hmm.
With that in mind, I having worked over 12 years in fashion, arriving in Miami, there's not a very strong market for fashion design. There is fashion production. I had to apply my skill set to something that was more readily available
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
I
understand that.
studied
Yeah.
interior design and opened this business, which I've been open since 2019. It was not a great year to open, as you can imagine.
Well, 2019 wasn't really. I would think that maybe part of
It was
what.
end of 2019. I had a good 3
Oh,
months before the COVID hit. So
yeah, I was going to say, because 2019, I remember in my experience, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad year at all for real estate. It was a pretty good year up till, like you
yeah, no, it
said.
was also the reason why we purchased, was because it was a good
Sure.
year. But then 2020 came around, and we hit a bit of a standstill, very short standstill, because people quickly realized that all their traveling money was now going towards their
Right.
homes. So then it became a good period for us.
Sure.
And I find that I really love this. I had subconsciously been doing it for the family for years. Always the person to design homes and make choices and remodel and all of that. So I just made it into a business.
Awesome. So you went from the fashion industry into the interior design and decoration, which is a different type of fashion. Obviously, now you're dressing up homes. So you started in 2019. 20 per first few months of 2020 is rough, obviously because of COVID. But then people start, like you said, they were staying home, so they're like, oh, I really now everything. I guess they're noticing everything about their house or their apartment, wherever they're living. Oh, this really needs some work. So I guess the
Yeah.
phone starts to ring because people are. I mean, there was a big time of home improvement projects happening, and also people moving. A lot of people started to move within the state.
Yeah.
People who were already living here were going to have their apartments, going into homes, and those from out of the state were coming down to buying homes and apartments. That helped your business. The influx
Yes,
of
it
people
was a,
coming
it
in.
was a good period.
Yeah.
Yes, it was definitely a good period. Even though I have to say it was a, it depends on where you were talking about the market, because what it started happening, and you can testify to this, is because of so many people coming from California and New York, the bidding wars were
Yeah,
crazy. It
I
was like
remember. Sure.
homes would sell in 3 hours, and a lot of times your budget would be shot on having to get the house. So it was tricky, but considering we do operate in a more luxury market, the people that were buying were not as concerned.
Mhm.
I would say that now that that wave is coming
Yeah,
down,
I have.
I'm getting more clients in the mid to high range, not just in the high range. And that's where we have to be more budget conscious, like I was mentioning in the beginning.
Because the money at that one point, some for a lot of people, the money wasn't the issue anymore. It was just like, oh, just spend it, let's get it done. Now the
Yeah.
market has, we have changed. The market has definitely changed in South Florida, and I guess particularly in
Hmm.
Florida and around the whole country, because now people are the movement, the transaction numbers are not what they were. So now people are home. So I would imagine, again, I can't move because it's just the pricing or it's just the interest rates. Think so. I'm going to stay here in my house.
Interest
So
rates.
now time again to start renovating or redecorating my home or however they want to do it. So have you seen a pickup on that side this year?
Yes, I have to say the last year and a half or
Hmm.
so have been a lot more, not so much furnishing jobs, just decorating jobs,
Hmm.
but a lot of consultations of, if I get this home, what can I do
I
with
see
it?
that a
You
lot of
know?
my business on my side, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always things
And I
like that.
love working with the
Yeah.
realtors with that, because sometimes there are some clients that have very good visualization of what could be, but there are other clients that really need a visual to be
Uh,
like, this house is a
yeah.
disaster, but it could be really
A
nice.
hundred, 100%. There's things with the technology today that we have with the renderings and the AI of being using AI to show you what a home could look like because it makes it a lot easier now. Now
Mhm.
you just go to prompt it. Hey, here's a picture of this living room. Give me a modern update, and AI can put that in. But obviously, it's still. Yeah, I think you need someone, a professional like yourself, with the eye. And
Because the AI does, you are correct. AI, I'm not one to fight
no,
technology, Matthew.
can't.
I actually embrace
Yeah.
it. I try to implement it in our business as much as we can without losing the personal touch. And I think the personal part of it is not so much the AI of
Mm-hmm.
it, it's the knowledge base that you bring to the table,
Hundred
right?
percent.
It's not just make it pretty. Can I make it pretty? Is this a structural wall? Is this, having worked for all these years now with contractors that are very competent, you learn and you study and you do your homework, so now you can tell them, yes, AI can make it pretty for you, but you can't move that wall.
No, AI doesn't see that unless you feed it the plans, and then I'm sure there
Exactly.
are plugins where they can feed the
Yeah.
plans and then see where okay, that's where the bearing wall is, or that's where things like if you move that wall, the house is going to collapse, things like
Right.
that.
And then
Yeah.
there's other things as well, because they can think of a lot of things, but they'll place according to your prompts. And okay, you're going to put your 96-inch television there, but there's going to be a massive glare because there's a
This,
wall of windows on
right,
the
the
other
sun.
side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All of those things, people ask me a lot, especially like colleagues in the area, are we afraid of this AI wave that's coming? No, I'm not afraid of it.
It's a
It can only
tool.
be helpful and make us more efficient,
100%.
but it's not going to I'm not afraid of replacement. That's not something
No,
I'm afraid of.
yeah, I appreciate your input on that because it's again AI depends. This was off subject for a second, but AI depends on the inputs that we put into it or give it the information. So it needs the information that we're giving it. It's not thinking up on its own. It's just taking everything that it knows or it's seen or it can feed off of.
Yes.
But still, you still need that human touch. Look, I would imagine, especially for design. I'm not someone who I wouldn't say I have an eye for design, but I understand it. I can see that doesn't look right to me, or how the
Yeah,
kitchen's
something
designed.
looks off
Right.
about that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's also the other side, Matthew, because very honestly, and I learned this a very hard
Hmm.
way, the design industry has this glamorous side to it, right? Where everybody sees it on
Oh
TV,
God.
everything goes up, and it's like half-hour shows where it goes from disastrous to magnificent in 28
Hmm.
minutes. But here, guess what? Even if you were to go, let's not dismiss it, right? Let's get a AI to design your
Right.
house. Guess what? You have yourself that image now, but you have to go source all of those things. And that's where we come in with our relationships, right? We have relationships with suppliers that we know will stand behind warranties and that are not just going to be like, I'm sorry, that's outside of your warranty, or no, we don't cover that
Right.
because whatever. So that's where we bring in. And then we have to source all these people that are going to show up. And in South Florida, it's a very real deal getting contractors that are
I'm
responsive
glad you
and
talked about that. Yeah.
your time. So you set appointments and they show up, and that's a relationship that was built over years and years of conversations of expectations, and that's what you bring to the table. So
It's
yes,
really you have, or you built with the suppliers, with the contractors, people who you know and can trust to do the job or show. I mean, look, half of the battles is showing up, right? That's half the
yes,
job is showing up.
hmm
Once you show up, okay,
yes,
now you can start to work. But that's the key. It's really getting those good
yes,
people, those good suppliers, those good contractors out there, subcontractors, whatever it is, the tile guy you can trust.
yes,
That hey, I know he's going to show up. He's going to get the job done. And when he says it's on the time, on the budget is also important, because I've seen way too many times. I'm sure you've seen it too, where
hmm
someone who's having work done on their home, and they're quoted one price, and then the price goes up exponentially as the work starts. And I think that's maybe because they didn't have someone who understood what they were doing, or
hmm
they could have had someone who was a little shifty, because it's South Florida. But in this business, unfortunately, there are those who will take advantage of others. So, like a person like yourself who comes in to oversee the trust that you have with your clients, and then the trust that you have with your suppliers and GCs, or work
yes,
or subcontractors, or the tile, like I said, the tile guy or the kitchen
hmm
installer is critically important for the success of the project. Correct?
yes. And a lot of clients have they have very clear in their mind what they want, like
Yes.
aesthetically, right? But they don't have the experience of procedures. So what happens a lot is they fail in the giving too much
Mm.
trust too fast,
Yes.
right? So they'll give this large amount of money, and then guess what? This person takes it, starts demoing, and disappears for
Oh
three
yeah,
weeks.
that happens. That happens. Oh, unfortunately, it just
So
happens so
it
many
happens
times.
more times than we wish
Yeah.
it would, right? So that's where we come in also with the know-how. Hey, where is your signed contract? Did you run a background check on this person? Because
Oh, I
Google reviews
like
can be
that. I
purchased.
like what you just said there.
Did you have like all of these things are important because at the end of the day, if you refer somebody to your client and the experience is good, it reflects
A
on you,
a hundred
right?
percent.
The same goes the other way around. If I'll tell you a personal experience right now, I was brought into a project by a client who had already signed with a contractor, and he asked me very flat out up front, "Do you mind working with somebody that I brought in?" And I said, "I don't have any problem. I'm hopeful you did your due diligence." And sure enough, it's been a nightmare because they didn't and they were sold, and now it should have been a 2-month project and we're at like almost a year.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
There's only so much I can do because I don't have pull with that person. I don't have a
Right.
relationship, and I can't say, "Hey, listen, bud, you're doing this, and my name's on the
Hmm.
line, and I'm trying. I'll bring in my people that I know can finish and all of that." But there's only so much I can
I
do.
like what
So
Yeah. I'm sorry to
there are
interrupt. Yeah.
cautionary
Go ahead.
tales there.
I like. There was something. It was something that you just said that I really liked and appreciate. What you said. Due diligence, doing your due diligence on the people you work with and the background. Because, by the way, this was a podcast of mine a few episodes ago, where
Okay.
I had a private investigator who's a friend of mine as well, who runs a private investigation company here in South Florida. He's here in Aventura, but his company is all around the country. He works around the country, and we talked
Hmm.
about due diligence, and we talked about knowing who you're doing business with. It's critically important, especially in the real estate field. It was not just about tenant relationship, but about tenant screens. It
Right.
was about, am I going to work with this contractor? Am I going to work with this person I'm going to invest with. And what I really appreciate what you just said about doing your due diligence, knowing who you're doing business with, because this relates back to another episode I just did. And I
It wasn't even on
no,
purpose,
I know, and
Matthew.
that's
This
why I
was
was like, oh my, that was so natural and organic when you talked about it, and I really appreciate that. And those who are listening or watching this, what Camilla said about doing your due diligence and your background checks and the people you do business with, or someone's going to be in your home, especially 100%. You really need to know who you're doing business with because they're going to be in your
yes.
house,
I'll
especially.
Yes, they're going to be in your house, and you're giving them a considerable amount of
Yeah,
money. So you
yeah.
really should be, right? So I'll give you, without naming any specific industries, but let's just say they put the toppers on the cake,
Hmm.
is the industry.
Yeah,
What happens in this industry a lot is they'll come and they'll get the contract, and then during the operations, they'll go under and then change names. And then all of a sudden, you
I've heard
have no
that.
litigation
Yeah, I've
against
heard that.
because they
Yeah.
changed names.
Yeah, you can't go after them at that point because they changed the name of the company or they changed the LLC or whatever the corporate structure, and they wiped out
Yeah,
that other one, and then all their whatever. That's
it's unfortunate. It's something I had to learn the
really
tough way. Not Unfortunately, not through a client, because I hate putting my clients or having my clients in bad situations. But we've learned it personally, and we're going through it right now. So I guess in general, Matthew, taking your own life experience and applying to the service you provide to your
yeah.
clients, it just makes it that much better because you don't wish this upon anybody.
No,
So.
definitely not. So let's get back on the design. What you do as far as design.
Yeah.
So you get called in. You get a call from an owner or someone who's at a house. What's the process? So you come to the house. What do you? I guess what is the process? What are you seeing in design trends in 2025 that are no longer people are using in 2019?
Okay.
Or what are you seeing as far as that goes? So let's take us through when you meet with the client or how they get with you, and then what design trends you're working on mostly now. What you're seeing mostly.
The beginning of our process is really understanding what the client wants as far as the relationship with us,
Right.
right? There are some clients that just want some guidance. So those are the clients that hire us to just help with the choices of the finishes for their remodel, and they're going to run the remodel on their
Sure.
own. Then there are the clients that a lot of these are the clients that this is their second home, that they need us to do everything. So this is a full service design,
Hmm.
right? And that is a client that I'm going to communicate on a regular basis on a Zoom call to update on how things are going. And we're going to do all of the design work on our end and then share with them and send samples to them wherever they are so they can approve them.
Sure.
Where
Hmm.
samples need in hand approval when it's just not paint color or something
Right.
like that. And those are the full service design clients. And then there are clients that really just want an hourly basis, like designer for a day situation. They just want somebody to come in and they have a bunch of things in their home that they would just like to finalize, and that they're either not very efficient at decision making or whatever. They just want us to sit with them and say, okay, so this is what I would do, this is what I would do, but they're going to take it from there.
Understand.
So we do offer several like levels of services, and that's dependent on the client and the project.
Right.
And then as far as the trends that we're seeing, trends with everything, Matthew, it's cyclical,
Sure.
right? So what was in the 70s comes back in the
Yeah.
2000s.
Oh wait.
So
Whoa. What was it, the 70s? So we're gonna see avocado green appliances again.
Not specifically the 70s,
Okay.
but for example, I'll give you a very clear example right now. We were just at the Kitchen and Bath Show in Las
Uh huh.
Vegas
Yeah.
recently, and a very strong trend that did not displease me, even though I do see it as not a long-term trend. I think it's going to be very passing. Curves. So
Well,
where everybody was going into their homes and removing arches, people are putting arches back in now. So arches, and instead of sharp corners on furnishings, they're rounded
I
corners.
personally round it
So
better, to tell you the truth.
and
Again,
it remits a little bit to mid-century
yeah, my
modern,
wife would be very happy
kind
with
of.
that. She's a mid-century modern girl, like you would not believe the. Yeah.
And I honestly think it gives a little softness to spaces where there tends to be a very Miami modern look going on here, especially with house flips and things that are not as curated.
Yeah.
So they do the white tile, neon lighting, the 3K light temperatures,
Yeah.
and it's all very stark. So the round corners with the biophilic and the wood tones and different
Softening of it.
tones,
Yeah.
it softens things a
Yeah.
bit. So I do see that as a very strong trend right now.
Good. That's
And
actually a trend I
then,
don't mind, to tell you the truth. I'm
yeah,
tired
I
of
don't
I'm
mind it
tired of the
either.
gray floors and the white everything and
Yes. I
it,
think the wording we use is taupe is the new gray.
taupe is
Please don't show me another,
yeah. Oh
don't
my
show
god,
me a
that's
blue gray anymore. Nobody wants blue gray anymore.
no one wants blue gray anymore. No. I don't think. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
so
just because I think it was what was available at Home Depot that day or Lowe's. I
maybe.
think that's what because
There was
every
a very
flip was
long
that way.
period where Home Depot was selling blue gray, Matthew.
I,
It's not, we're
every
done.
flip home
So no,
in South Florida was blue gray. That was it. Flooring was blue gray. The man,
yes. And
I
I
personally
don't know
like
about
color,
you,
but
it gives me a desaturated, like film look. You know, the movie that's not quite black and white, but it
yes,
doesn't have color.
sepia.
It's the feeling, yes, it's like that. Meh.
Yeah, it's like blah.
So
Yeah,
we're on the out of
yeah,
that now. And then I think we're already on the out trend of this. This was maybe last year, was very strong, the greens, right?
yes.
And then the color of the year now is like a copper terracotta.
Copper.
So
Okay, interesting.
that speaks a little bit to the warm wood
Mm-hmm.
tones. That's what I where I see things going. But I have to tell you, I can count in one hand the clients that are interested in trends when it comes to their
So
homes.
what are you looking for? Just
Um,
like traditional? Is it
what they like.
what was
No, it's
traditionally worked?
what they
What
like.
they like?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I have a wonderful client in South Beach who has very quirky style, and
South Beach.
we incorporated Hello Kitty
No,
in some artwork,
really.
and this is not this she's not a super young client. She's very young and young spirited and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but the colors were bright and popped, and she didn't want anything neutral. And guess what? It works, and she's happy with it. And she was did not ask me once what's the trend. She just said, I like
It's what she
tiger
likes.
and I like cheetah print. And I was like, all right, let's run with it.
The client's always right in that respect. That's what the client wants, obviously, and
And it
right.
makes them happy. You know, who wants a model home? You can walk into any of the Lennar at the chance of quoting somebody, and their model homes all look the
There's a
same.
reason for
And
that. They're
right,
stamping them
because
out.
that's what
Yeah,
appeals to the
right.
masses, right? But if you're going to live, that's also a question we go through. It's very important, the intake form, Matthew. It's a lot of questions. I almost sometimes feel like a client wants to tell me, what are you doing? Writing a book of my life? I need to know these things because the more I know, the more I can design for you, right?
Yeah, it
So,
makes
like,
sense. The same thing for real estate agents. The more we can get information about, we can show them the correct home or the correct apartment for them to buy or to sell, or what they're selling, what the next steps are, things like that. So the more information we have, the better we can serve them. Yeah, so continue on when you're doing your intake with the clients. What are you going through with them?
oh, I'm going through how many family members they host,
Mm-hmm.
if they have dogs, what kind of lifestyle do they live? Are they athletes? Are they more like a sedentary homebody kind of
Comfortable
family?
couch.
That's gonna be comfortable.
That's the most
Exactly.
important thing to me.
That's gonna define the kind of sofa I'm gonna give them. I'm not gonna give them a modern looking low back sofa because that's not where they're gonna
Right.
watch their
Right.
movies. They're gonna watch their movies in something that's gonna hug
Mm-hmm.
them. So all of these things in the intake is very important. And also, like, understanding what kind of homeowner are you? Are you a hands-on homeowner? Do you want to have maintenance on things? Or do you want everything to be completely low maintenance? Do you want a smart home? Do you want to integrate technology? We work with some companies that have integration
Yeah.
capabilities, and I'm a very techie person. I go to these markets to look at what's the new tech in
What is the
everything
new tech? Just out of
because
curiosity, in home design. What is
it's not necessarily new, but it's the one that I love the
what is
most.
that?
Even though, like, I can't speak to somebody who has had it and tell me like what the real experience is. The cooktops that are embedded in the stone that
Oh
you don't see the
yeah, I
cooktop.
seen that. Where did I saw that? That is awesome.
Isn't that
That is
cool?
beyond
But then
cool.
I ask myself, I have an Italian husband. He makes bolognese on a
If he doesn't
regular.
see
Is
the, if
that
he
going to
doesn't see
stain
the
my
flame,
countertop?
he's not going to cook. Is that it?
Is it going to stain my countertop if I go with something
It's
white? Is
supposed to
that so?
not. That's what my understanding. It does not stain.
Yeah. So those technologies, and even like the
Yeah,
steam
that's
showers
big.
now are easy, are not like a huge investment. They're like let's say 13, $15,000 if you plan it in the construction
Yeah.
stage. It's not, if you consider the total budget of a high end home, that's not a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And steam has health benefits, has anti-inflammatory
100%.
benefits, and all those things. Like, I'm always studying up on what's going to make people healthier.
Right.
Like the whole biophilic design, bringing the green and the woods in, it's proven that it helps your state of mind. It's not just it's pretty. It helps you feel in touch with the earth instead of having all this stark glass, mica,
Right.
metal, all of these things. So I don't know if it's not everybody's alley. So a lot of people are just about the pretty. I think that's what the questions are for. Are you about the pretty or are you about the health?
That's interesting. So you incorporate the health aspect of, I guess, as a type of feng shui into the design of a home when the people
Right.
that's part
And
of it.
then also, who's going to be living here? Is this a three generational
That's a
home?
big,
Is
and
this a
that's a big
forever
thing
home?
now. That's a big thing.
Yeah, because you're bringing your
Yeah.
parents in, and especially during COVID, it was families were uniting everybody under the same roof because they had to bunker down. So those are all the questions that we ask. And also, are we designing for a future where there is a nobody wants a handicap, but are we keeping those things in mind? Do we
Interesting.
want accessible
Yeah.
showers, accessible toilets? Like some in some parts of our city, like condos, smaller condos, there isn't much you can do, but there's always something you can do,
Right.
right? New builds are different. You can do whatever you want. So obviously, and then like I said in the beginning, Matthew, we're not over designing for your area. So is this going to be your forever home? Do you plan to stay here for the foreseeable future? Or is this an investment property where you're going to sell this in 2 years?
Right.
Right? Because those are going to affect our choices as well. Because if it's your forever home and you found and fell in love with a tile that $50 a square foot, we're going to have to make those choices to make that work. We're not going to compromise if this is forever, but this is for now. Then guess what? Let's go look for something that looks like it, but costs us $8 a square
So
foot.
you're
Right?
right. So looking for something comparable that looks good, is also workable for the home or the
Right.
whoever you or the person you're working with, the owner of the home, and
Right.
that's how you come in. And I like that what you said, because you can say, look, it's $50 a square foot for this tile or whatever, marble, but here's an option here that's $8 a square foot that looks the same, durable too, will last. Here's another option for you, and it will look good, and it saves you money, especially because
I
it
mean,
gets expensive.
those different budget endpoints are usually don't happen in a conversation unless it's something that we're like a backsplash, something that has a small amount,
Right.
because the budget conversation starts off our design
Mhm.
project. So we're not designing with a carte blanche, like here you can choose from 50 to 8. No.
No,
If they tell me I have X, I'm going
you're going
to
to work with
choose
that.
from X because I don't want to frustrate them and show them a $50 tile and then they're like, but I can't have that. You
Appreciate
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
So uh, the conversation of money, that's something that's very important. Like it's an awkward conversation for people who don't like to talk about those
Hmm.
things, but it's necessary, and it's necessary for the design process as well. So if you don't know how much you want to spend, you need to do some math, and I can help you. We do that for clients all the time.
Good.
Oh, I have no idea how much this could cost. We have charts that your investment on your property is 500,000. This is what you're looking to spend outside of the renovations, because the renovations are going to be contingent on your choices on what kind of renovation
What
you want to do.
level of
Is it
level? There's always, people talk level one, level two, level three work.
Yeah,
And,
we're talking like drywall finishes,
right.
right? And we're also talking
Sure.
flooring. Is it marble? Is it porcelain? Is it right?
Or is it wood?
So
Yeah.
those things,
Yeah.
when clients ask me how much could this remodel cost, I can never spit out a number because I can tell you how much the labor costs, but it's all contingent on the choices we're
On
going
the,
to make.
yeah. Right.
But if they don't know, I'm happy to give them some guidelines. Look, for a master bedroom, we're looking to spend this. Where are you
Hmm.
comfortable? If I throw out a number, if I tell them for a master bedroom, you're looking in furnishings to do $30,000, and they do one of these,
I just did one of those. Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, you're like, and then you explain, we're not sourcing from low end furniture that in 2 years you're
Right.
going
We're
to
not
have
going
to
to add,
replace.
no offense to those companies like Rooms to Go. They serve a great purpose. You're going to a much higher end. You're going to a Mondani,
Right.
or you're going to an Addison House type of, then you're working with
Yeah, and the
those.
good news is we do have suppliers in the lower budget
You have to.
ends, but here's the differential is this: a lot of those big names like Rooms to Go, IKEA, and like you said, they serve their purpose.
Hmm.
A lot of the money you're paying is for marketing
Oh,
and brand positioning and brand recognition,
hmm.
right? We have suppliers that make the same budget furnishings, but that supply to those suppliers. So you're cutting out that
Middleman type. Yeah. Yeah.
marketing budget and you're getting a much higher quality product because of you can take that money and apply it to a solid wood furniture that's going to last you 5 to 10 years, not
What's your, here's a question for you. Tub in the master, in the primary bathroom, or no tub in the primary bathroom. How do you feel about that?
That's a very
I,
that's the question in the
yeah,
intake. Are you a shower person or a tub
I
person?
personally
Because
see it
sometimes
as well, now I'm seeing it where people, when especially on the redesign, they're getting rid of the tubs. They're just taking them
yeah.
out, even though they may, especially in the new builds, they put these beautiful tubs. Look. I think they're a great aesthetic piece. But they're just taking up, in my opinion, just me,
Yes.
my opinion, taking up space. And I find that now when a lot of the redesigns or renovations, there's no tubs in the primary
Hmm.
bathroom anymore. And maybe keep one in this, they do a shove tower combo in the second bathroom,
Yes. Like in another
but not in the
bathroom.
primary
Yes.
anymore. We used to see it a lot when the redesigns, but now when new, you see it still because they think they're like, "Oh, look at this beautiful tub I got for you." All right.
Yeah. I don't know
Although that's
about
a
you,
more, I
and I
think, a more
imagine
American thing that we're not tub people maybe as much as
like the
Europeans.
Japanese love a
They do.
soaking tub, so it
True.
depends. I don't know about. I'm pretty sure you're going to be on board with me here. A lot of our job has a lot to do with being marriage counselors because when you come
Psychologist,
into a
yeah.
home, yes, you have to be like, hey, listen, you got the color in the library you wanted. Let's give your wife the bathtub she
I just
wants.
had this in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's where I say it's personal because sometimes the husband's like, no, steam shower all the way, rock on. What is it?
Right.
Recuperation and ice
Ice.
tub,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. The ice tub.
And then the wife was like,
Yeah.
no, I want to take a bath and drink a glass of wine and read my book.
So the wife is going
So
to win out in that respect. That's how it works. Yeah.
listen, you are a wise man, Matthew. You are a wise man. It's the happy wife, happy life.
Very true. Very true. It was an interesting design trend that I've been seeing lately is two islands in the kitchen, the double islands. That now, I guess really for that to happen, you have to have a really good size area for that to be.
Yes.
But where is that? Tell me your thoughts on that. The double islands. That's because that's a new design trend. That's something I haven't seen
Hmm.
before until maybe the last year or two. So when we talked about,
So
yeah,
I'm not against it. I have never implemented it because, like you said, you do need the footprint
yeah,
needs to be pretty
big, yeah.
large. I don't love the stacked ones that's one in
Hmm.
front of the other. I like it when they split a very long island in two. So they're side by side because then you can designate one for cooking and the other one for seating.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that the solution better than the one in front of the other. I just think it creates extra hallways.
Mhm.
And then if you're being ADA conscious, there's a lot of space that you got to keep between them. I don't know. I don't. Are you pro or con? Let me
It
hear
depends
your
on the
thoughts.
size. Like I said, it depends on the aesthetic at the end of the day. Because one island is used, you will have the cooktop, and then the other island will be used for prep or for eating or something like that. So there's pluses. Look, my wife I think would have is the biggest island possible. That's all she dreams about. I just need that island, and I'm like, yeah, me too. But it's again, I guess it's really how it looks in the home at that point or in the air in
Mhm.
the room. So it really would depend on that. But I think it's interesting. I've seen it a few times, and I noticed it
Mhm.
start now. I even read something about it. It's like, oh, that's no, people are actually starting to talk about this.
Yeah.
So
Have you? Let me ask you a question now. I know this is your podcast, but
sure, go
I
ahead,
want to
ask me
pick
a
your brain.
question. No problem.
So there's a trend, and though in South Florida it hasn't been very
Yeah.
embraced, which is the trend of no longer having wide open spaces and having spaces like closed off for
Designated
their
off.
specific
Yeah.
use. Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
What I mean,
I'm
realistic.
seeing that a little bit. It depends. It depends again. I have no. I actually like a little bit of separation personally, but
Hmm.
everyone likes to. I think the open concept like maybe got to its max peak here. Like everything is just open. You just have a
Yeah.
room. Okay. I'm personally someone who likes where I know where my dining room has to be. I like where my living room is, my kitchen is. There's separation. So I personally
Hmm.
like it. I'm starting to see a little bit more of it. I even saw it was like the Ritz Carlton in Sunny Isles had one of their floor
Hmm.
plans was what the kitchen was separated, wasn't open to the rest of to the house. And the design, it really what they came about that was because they were marketing to more of the South American market at the time. And the reason that the developer said is like their South American buyers and clients are saying we like when the kitchen is not open to everything, that there is a close off. So I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't seen that in a long time. I was like, but it made sense to me. And I was like, okay, I get it. I understand it. And I like it. Just,
You, I'm from
yeah.
Brazil, so I can justify that with the fact that a lot of these more affluent families in South America have
Staff,
staff that live
exactly.
in.
Yeah,
So if they want some privacy to discuss something that maybe you don't want everybody to hear, you have to be able to close
sure.
off those spaces, right? And have even privacy for other
Yeah,
things, whatever it is you
I
need
don't
your
see my
privacy
dirty
for, right?
pans, pots and pans.
Like you want to wake up in your underwear and the person that's working for you, that's cooking for you, is in the kitchen.
Yeah, and there is that as part of it.
Understand
Yeah,
it, but I would imagine that here, that one floor plan limited their buyer pool. That's just my thought.
yeah. I like I said, I'm a person who likes knowing where everything has to go, where you put where the dining room table goes. I get like I don't have to
Hmm.
guess where it's going to go. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that design trend, or a little bit more section off, even though it's still there's still some openness. But
Yes.
I would not. I don't think that would be a hindrance now to selling a home. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, just because it's something that I've been hearing, and a lot of more morphing. I don't think convertible. That's the
Convertible,
word I'm looking
yes.
for. Convertible spaces.
Hmm.
So with sliding glass doors that will make it private, or you can slide them and
Yeah.
make them open. So I that middle
Hmm.
area where you have a choice and not something that's imposed
Movable
on you,
walls are
right?
great in that respect. I think there's some really good design functionality. Personally, that's just me, where you can like, oh, okay, we can let me move this, let me close off this section of the house or the or this room
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to have some people over, are going to be watching TV, and I don't want to disturb someone else.
Right.
Or my wife doesn't want to, your wife or your husband doesn't want to be bothered, which happens. Or you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be the kids, or you don't want the dog
Yes.
bothering you. So yeah, there's some. I think there's
Separate the TV area for the kids
yeah,
from the TV area for the adults,
yeah.
and so on and so
I think
forth.
that's a good
Yes.
thing. I like it personally, and then it's still then you can still open up the space when you want to. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a nice function to that. Just like with realtors, do you ever get into the staging? You ever help with staging a property? You ever get into any of that?
What I do a lot more with realtors is the consultations for editing for when something's going up for sale.
Okay.
So a lot of times it's not so much, we don't do the staging, Matthew, for the simple reason that a staging company needs to have furniture in
Yeah.
stock and a storage
Mhm.
and all of that. Those are all overheads
Sure.
that for designers, which the portion of their business is minimal, for staging clients, it would be a useless overhead
Mhm.
cost. But I do work with staging companies when my clients need something elite out of Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
and other people that, that's all they
Yes.
do.
You have that
But
relationship.
what I do a lot is the consultation to how can I make this more appealing to more people, right? Come in, edit things out, paint the red wall because red in feng shui is money, but red in other people's mind is something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them, this is what you need to do, and we'll work out a plan with a minimal investment where they're going to get
So
that money
preparing the
back
home for
because they're
sale.
going to feel
You
some
help
more.
with that. Preparing,
Yes.
getting it sell is what you call sale ready or sell ready. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Just so to start wrapping this up, who's your ideal client customer that says, hey, that Camilla wants? Who would be your ideal for people to work with?
Right. Currently, we're doing a few more commercial projects than we did in the
Oh yeah.
past.
Such
So I've discovered a love of commercial that is, obviously, it's client dependent. I think the person that I want to design for is somebody who puts their trust in my knowledge, in and what I'm going to bring and what I'm going to design for. And like I said, we ask a lot of questions so that we're not very off mark to what it is that you want. There's somebody that is busy, is a professional, lives in another city, that values good quality work. So I'm not going to tell you a specific budget because that really, to me, doesn't
determined on the
matter.
person.
What matters to me is knowing, identifying the value.
Mhm.
When I find a client that knows, I love it when they say, here, I gave them three options and they tell me, I like all three. I would like for you to decide. Which one do you think would look
Right.
best? And because then it brings the vision that I have, and the more optimal result, it makes it more easily achievable. My ideal client is somebody that understands that what we bring is invaluable and that it's worth paying for.
Got it. So we know who your ideal client is. Someone you want it with just obviously you have to have trust on both sides. Just out of curiosity, barn doors, yay or nay? Nay.
Nay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Overdone.
I'll tell you one second, Renee. They're pretty. They're very pretty. In the right place, yay.
Just every
Everywhere
door?
else
No, every door is a barn door.
because of the soundproofing of a barn
Right.
door is horrible.
Not good for a bathroom,
People just tell
personally.
me, I was gonna say, if you put a barn door in a bathroom, everybody and their grandmother that's in your house is gonna hear what you're doing in there. You don't want
All right,
that.
I appreciate that. That was okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. I as the barn door and the bathroom always throws me for a loop.
Barn door in front of a library, yay.
Okay.
But maybe if you want to read in quiet, maybe not so much. But barn door, I don't know, in a
In a
space
private
that doesn't
space,
need
no.
any privacy
Yes, I
is
agree.
where you put it.
I agree. So tell me some of the things you like to do outside. You're involved with Make a Wish and things like that.
Yes, I did a project last year for Make a
Great.
Wish, a wonderful project for a young lady down in Kendall. You know what, Matthew, I've come after my 40 something, let's just say 40 something years on this earth, I've come to realize that a life of service is a life well lived.
Nice.
So even though I do have to pay my
We
bills,
all do. Yeah.
whenever I can, whether it be at my kids' school, whether it be for my friends, whether it be, I like to always pass it forward.
Nice.
And we did a great job working with this family who wanted, this young lady was 14 years old and she wanted a Japanese anime
Oh,
themed
cool.
room. And it was very convenient that my son is very into Japanese anime because I was totally out of my element.
You have someone in your house who can help you with that. Here, mom.
I was like,
This is
I
what
need you
this
to
is what
help
the
me
anime
with these
is.
choices.
Got you. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless of what the project is, when you're working with Make a Wish, they're such a wonderful company and they're integrated with Disney now. And the Imagineers are involved with the whole
Great.
process where these children get their wish granted, whether it be to meet John Cena, who is a
He's
wonderful
one of the
person
best
who
at
does
it,
so.
but you can't see him. That's the thing.
He's invisible, or whoever, whatever it is their wish is. If we can make them a little bit happier with all the hardships they've had, power to it, power as much as my time as I can give. I often tell my friends and family, do you ever wish you won the lottery? Not really, but for the one reason I wish I won the lottery is that I could do the stuff I
Very
love
nice.
and not have to worry about the money.
Yeah, yes,
You know?
that's really the dream for everyone, I think, or at least just so I can do whatever I want. That's really it. The
Yes.
money is one thing, but just to be able to either do nothing or do a lot. Let's
Yeah,
have that
do
option.
do a lot for a lot of
Right.
people and know that you're still gonna have a house
Have
and
that
need
option,
food on your
which
table.
is nice. Yeah, I get you. I get it. So how does someone reach out to Camilla? How do we get in touch with you? Where do we find you?
It's pretty easy. We have a website. It's camilla.decoratingden.com. On that website, there's a call to action for a 15-minute discovery
Okay.
call. From that discovery call, that's a free discovery call. We'll talk about what your needs are and if it's a good fit to be working with our company. And then from then on, the process is pretty smooth. We give you a package explaining the process and how it's going to go. You decide the level of involvement you'd like to have with the company, and we go from there.
Great.
It really is a pretty straightforward. It keeps the, I know a lot of people in South Florida in our industry and design won't even walk in the door for without a fee or something. But we try to understand if we can help and if it's a good fit. And I'm always the one happy to, I get calls all the time because people Google search and they're like, hey, I need 5 pillows made for my outdoor furnishings. What does it cost me to send them in the direction of the
Nothing.
upholsterer that can do that? It costs me nothing. And guess what?
Goodwill.
Next time their friend is looking for a designer, they're going to remember that lady that just gave me the phone number, just sent me the right way. It's all about paying for it, and you get what you put in.
Absolutely. You're creating goodwill there on your part for the future.
Yes.
And do you have any social media that we can people can find you on?
Yep.
You have to.
We have
Everyone has social media.
I have not caved to the TikTok
Good for
yet.
you.
Draw the line at dancing in front of my projects, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Same.
Don't never say
Same.
never.
Yeah.
But I do have Instagram, Facebook, and we are also on LinkedIn.
What's your Instagram handle?
DDI Camila Gusmau.
And that's, by the way, everyone, that's Camilla with one L, just so everyone.
One L and a C.
And a C.
Yes.
That's right. All right. Hey, Camilla, this was really great. I love what you brought to the table here today. And actually, I like how you actually led to something else I had talked about in another podcast about due diligence, but and who you do business with. So people who listen to this, remember who you're doing business with. Get to know the person, do your background check. But if you need great design or just need any help, Camilla is your person to talk to. And especially in South Florida, you come off as being very genuine and honest about what you do, and you want to generally help people in their design and decoration and renovations of their homes, and that's a great thing. And I like how you said also about paying it forward. That's creating goodwill, because that'll also lead to business for you down the road as well. So whoever listening to this or is watching this today, hit the share button, hit the like button, follow this podcast as well, and reach out to Camila for all your design work and needs here in South Florida. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Matthew Krinzman, and this was the Krinzman Property Playbook. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of the Krinzman Property Playbook. I hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel inspired to take your next steps in the real estate game. If you're ready to make a move or need expert guidance, let's connect. Whether you're buying, selling, or looking to invest, I'm here to help you navigate the South Florida market with confidence. You can reach out to me directly through my website or on social media. Let's get the conversation started and make your real estate goals a reality. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on the Krinzman Property Playbook.